So this is my 2019 bullet journal. You will have seen me do a start of the year video for this. I'll just pop it up here so you can see it. But what I'm going to do today is go through the kind of 6 months, what's worked for me and what hasn't worked. And then we'll go into how I'm preparing it and then basically how I do July. So this spread is basically just the year at a glance. That's going to stay the same. This page here is my library and films that I've seen at the cinema. Now here I've counted 7 books, so not phenomenal. There's still a lot of empty spaces there, but 7 books in a year isn't too bad. We're 6 months in, although I have to say 3 of them were done within a week of holiday. So what can I say about that? The films bit has been really, really useful, although I had to squeeze in a few at the end here that I'd forgot that I'd actually went to see. But I've really enjoyed having that to kind of record whenever we've been to the cinema. As you can see here, all my ticket stubs have been used up, so I will need to transfer this part of my bullet journal to the next 6 months for July through to December. As for the bookshelf, I will leave that as it is and just refer back to that at the front of my bullet journal. This page here has not worked at all. The issue being, I'll just show you. Basically, I have my content tracker here and I was finding what I was doing. That's my monthly favourites as well. I was finding what I was doing was putting down everything that I was wanting to film. And then whenever I was filming it, I would tick it off, editing it, uploading it, ticking it off. But what I would do as well is I would maybe film something in, let's say, the March, but it would be transferred over to the April by the time I actually got it uploaded or edited and things like that. Because I have a full-time job and I don't always have time to do these things within a couple of days. As well as that, I was finding that I was putting down things that I would like to film instead of putting them in this page here. So I think I'm going to get rid of this page, and what I will do is just put at the start of each month a kind of brain dump for YouTube or Instagram. But that's my plan. This is my period tracker here. This has been really quite useful. I think you can see a fair section here of just a block of when I'm roughly having a period. I'm sorry if this is too much information about TMI for you, but it's been really useful for me because you can see here there's been points where I've started a period, then there's been days off, and it's not like I just started this period tracker and realised, oh, this is happening, you know, I need to go and see a doctor. I have seen many medical professionals before. This is something that's been happening my whole life. So I will start a period, I'll think it's finished, and then boom, the next time, like 3 days later, I'll have a full-blown period and the next day it's gone again. And it's quite good for me to see that so I can actually take it to someone and say, look, this is what's happening. Is this normal? You know, as I'm getting into my mid-30s now, this is something I want to be really on top of, because if I think of starting a family, I need to know. So I like this and I will continue to do this. You can see here I've not started July yet, but I'm filming this on the 1st of July, so I'll put the little square in later. Now this is my aims here. Now some of these I have actually achieved through the start of the year. Some of them I think I will have to continue to maintain, and some have just downright not worked. The progression in my career, I have booked a course to go back to uni through my work, so that will start in September, so I'll tick that. Maintaining my HbA1c, the last time I was at my clinic, my HbA1c was 46, which is a great number. Doing more for me, I think I have done with regards to my hobbies and YouTube and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Spending more time for myself, most definitely, but I would like to maintain that as well, like to keep doing it. So I think I'm going to put little like lines just to things that I want to maintain. Doing more with Alan, I want to maintain doing that as well. We've done loads, we've seen loads of cinema stuff, we've kind of had a lot of time together, and I think it's important to make sure I'm making that time rather than letting hobbies and things overspill. Meeting new people, I think I want to maintain that as well. I have met a lot of lovely new ladies at the start of this year, but I think I want to maintain to have an open mind and meeting new people. Redecorating my house has not happened whatsoever, partly because I haven't had the money, and I'm ticking the one there for read more, which I have kept up with, but saving money and budgeting has not been good. I'm not in any debt or anything, but I've not managed to save as much as I would like, so the redecorating along with time constraints has not happened. This is my future plans page. It's going to remain the same, so I'm not going to go into that too much. Now, my content tracker, as I kind of mentioned at the start there, really did work, but I think I'm going to keep that more as just a video log. Now, my monthly favourites has been really useful. It just has let me keep a track of all the things I've been really enjoying that month, although I'm thinking I might call it something else, maybe hits and misses, because especially in the last 2 months here, I've wanted to talk about things that necessarily haven't worked as well as my favourites. So this is the start of my new 6 months. You'll see here that I'm just putting in more ticket stubs so that I can pretty much lay out exactly as I did in the first half of my bullet journal. So I will have 12 ticket stubs, but I think 2 of them I put admit 1 on, and this time I think I'm just going to keep one of them saying that and keep the other ones empty, because we will definitely be continuing going to the cinema and seeing other films. I kind of just wanted to keep these pages more primary colours, kind of bright and sunny. I think that's because it's summer at the moment, so I might feel differently by the time we get to December with this. I'm just using my blending pen here just to kind of bleed out some of the colour around about the edges. At the top here, I'm going to document the aims that I've already achieved throughout the year. I'm just using a really basic beige colour to do that. And then I thought for my aims that I want to achieve in the next 6 months, I'd do a kind of bunting theme over on the other page here. Again, just use my bleeder pen, kind of blending pen, to pull the colour out a little bit. And you will see that for each of the aims, I also have put bunting type flags down the edge here, and again kept them in kind of primary colours. As I say, I may well change my mind by the time it gets to the darker months. So as I said, I'm just putting down my aims achieved and a little kind of target with an arrow in it here. As I said at the very start of the year, if you watch my initial video, I don't want to call them goals. I think through some of the videos I started to call them goals, but I've came right back to calling them just aims. For the little ticket stubs, I just make them look like they're little, got torn edges and perforations, things like that. Then just outline them to make them look a little bit more interesting. It's not that exciting. And a little film, what do you call that? Film camera? One of the reels. Again, just adding some decorative aspects to my bunting just to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, and this will be for my aims, which I wish to achieve between July and December. This complete the DAP course, which I will start in September, is really important. So when I start doing this in September, I will be back at university, and I do have a 6,000 word kind of paper to go along with that. So that is very important to me, and it will really help add something to my, I don't know if you want to call it your CV or your experience and your skills. So therefore that is very important to me, and finish what you start is very important to me, because I do not want anything else to really get in the way of that. So that's going to be a point where I really need to juggle my time management. Future planner, it's not going to be overly different from what I've done. I'm just taking a beige colour to kind of outline the months and along the top here, and then all I do is split these pages up into 6 for the next 6 months of the year. I really like having a future planner laid out like this. Some people like to do them vertically rather than horizontally, but for me it just works easier if I can write in a long line rather than down the way. So I just made them into little kind of flags. Last time I think I made them perforated bits of paper coming over the top, but this time I thought little flags would be nicer. So I just add in the months of the year, obviously this next 6 months, and I use this for keeping birth dates, appointments, anything I need to know that's coming up, like maybe MOT, insurance, stuff like that. I added in a little bit of shadow just to make it look a little more three-dimensional, and then a little bit of something to the bottom of the flags. But that's pretty much it. It's not going to be anything too fancy. It's pretty much my calendar. These pages are going to be my monthly favourite boxes, but I decided I would call it monthly hits and misses. A lot of people call them that on YouTube as well, things that have worked and things that haven't, but it just made more sense to me to document it like that rather than favourites, because definitely, especially over the last 2 to 3 months, there's been things that I've tried throughout the month that haven't really worked. So I thought that would be important. And again, I've just documented this up into 6 months, pretty much the same way that I done my future planner, but obviously not with all the dates on it. I don't feel that's necessary. I want more room to write down my favourites. This page is going to be my content tracker, and again, the only difference here is that I've put a kind of little YouTube video bubble up in the corner. Again, it's just sectioned up into 6 months with the months, and what I'm going to use this for is for videos that have been posted rather than ideas. Okay, so this page here is going to be a quote page. I used some kind of waxed brown paper, scrunched it up, laid it out and tore it into a circle. Not that exciting. I just thought this might give a really nice effect. I want it to look kind of simple and minimalist, but last time when I done paper like this, it was really colourful, and I wanted to keep this a little bit more muted. So the quote that I decided to write here is something I believe from Helen Keller, and I wanted to do that kind of effect where people I see do a black box with a white pen, but I don't have a white pen. So I thought if I'd done a darker brown kind of outline for some of the words, then I would still be able to draw over it in black. So the quote is, "Be happy with what you have while working for what you want." And I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but actually this is really, really important to take in and think, especially in this day and age. I think nowadays people are constantly striving to have the next best thing, constantly striving for the likes, constantly striving to have more followers, all of this stuff that really doesn't matter. So really look at the things that are important to you, you know, your loved ones, the happiness, the experience that you're having, rather than, you know, just these absolute superficial things that really do not matter. I'm saying this, and here I am making YouTube videos, and I post on Instagram quite a lot, but I don't want that to become something that would take away from the things that I already have. I don't do these things to try and earn money or anything like that. And I'm working towards personal things in my own career and life that if all this stuff fell away, I wouldn't be unhappy with what I have. I decided to decorate these pages with just some branches, which may be more, I don't know, wintry looking than summer, but I really like the simplicity of it. I just got some inspiration from Pinterest. Nothing too difficult to achieve. I'm still not very good at my hand lettering yet, so I still have to go in afterwards and add in a little bit of the shadowing. On my monthly layout, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same. The only difference I made was I've added some brown paper again, and I thought I would add some kind of doodling to this page. Very similar again with kind of twigs and branches. I really like the effect the brown paper gives. I think it's a little bit more interesting, and because I'm not someone who is overly confident with colour sometimes I do things in colour and I think, oh my god, that's really gaudy, I don't know if I like that. So actually using this was a lot quicker for me this time, and maybe come August I'll try a little bit colour again, we'll see. But I kind of like the simplicity of this. I just think it's a little bit more grown up and understated, and as I say, I don't have the confidence with colour just yet. Now my boxes are 5x6. I started doing them and then thought, I want to add in some brown paper to the top of them as well. So you can see I done that there, and just put the same beige pen in the corners for the dates. But I always do my monthly spread like this and it really works well for me. Now this page here is going to be the brain dump that I was talking about. I wasn't sure how I was going to lay this out as yet, so this is trial and error as it stands. So I've put in 2 lists. Oh, sorry, that bit there as well is for my habit tracker, but we'll go back to that in a minute. So this brain dump, I thought I'll make 2 lists, one for YouTube and one for Instagram. And then I thought, oh, this list is probably not big enough to tick off my boxes anymore. So I think this month I'm just going to keep it pretty much an ideas page. And then next month I will look at how I can incorporate actually documenting whether I've done each aspect of making a video or a picture or editing or anything like that. My habit tracker is going to remain pretty much the same. I added bunting to try and keep the theme at the start of my 6 months. And I have done these habit trackers throughout the year. They really work well for me. They are 7x5 boxes, I think, to fit all of the dates in. And I thought I would just do a time lapse here because you've seen me do this before and it takes a long time. You'll see my cat there. So just added in all of the boxes and I will document on each of the things I do. Sleeping, drinking enough, doing my blood sugars, changing my pump, keep up with my reading, YouTube and Instagram, so that would be whenever I post to them, exercise and yoga, because I've not been since I came back my holiday, which is a month ago. And the last 3 I like to just keep a track of in general. So my weekly spread, I'm going to change up a little bit this time. I put a Dutch door in, which I've never done before, and I just use a little washi tape down the side there to actually make it more sturdy. I added some brown paper in again just for different little lists and flags that I want to put up. I have obviously sketched in an idea of what I want to lay out. Here you see me adding in my days of the week. My daily boxes are 11 by 18, I want to say, because I do quite like making long lists each day, or even just scribbling something down in each day that I need to remember. Now you probably noticed that I didn't put up May or June plan with me, and the reason being because May I had a holiday with the last 2 weeks of May, so I didn't see any point in going into the layout of it because it would have been kind of more of a diary entry. And June I didn't actually do one because when I came back my holiday I hadn't done it, and before I knew it I was 2 weeks into June and hadn't yet got around to it, so that was my bad. I laid these out vertically. I thought that would work. Initially I thought, will I do it horizontally? But then I thought, well, if I turn the page I won't see what's I needed to do the day before, so I thought vertically was the best idea. In this little notepad in the corner here, I thought I would use it for shopping, mainly stuff like if you need to go to the supermarket, groceries, that's what Americans say, isn't it? So pretty much food stuff. If we're running out on something and I need to pick it up, that's what that's for. And then I really wanted to incorporate a box for next week, because a lot of the time I'm flipping back to my monthly spread, which you do need to do, but sometimes it's easier if something happens this week and I think, oh, I'll need to do that next week, I'll need to remember, it might not be on my monthly spread. So I wanted to incorporate a little box just for quick notes. I've kept my step counter in, but not my activity tracker. And mainly this week, that was because I didn't think I was going to manage to get to the gym this week. I'm night shifts all the end of the week. So I thought I'll do my step counter at least. And that lets me document something. Over the next few weeks, I might try and incorporate that back in again. Now over on this side, I thought having a master to-do list at the start of the week might be quite helpful, because I think sometimes I put things on the days and then obviously I don't do them that day and I migrate them to the next. So I thought having a master to-do list would be really useful. Just put some drop shadows on the boxes as well to make them look a little bit more interesting. I also added in a monthly calendar here because, again, it's easier than flicking back to my future planner just to check a date, for instance, later in the month. So I thought just having this in the corner might be a little bit more useful so that I know what is happening in that month. So this is my layout for the next 6 months. My aims achieved, films at the cinema, which I will continue to fill out over the next part of the year. My aims here all laid out nice and big so I can see them at all times. My future planner, as I said, this isn't going to change too much. It pretty much always stays like this and it works really well for me, so I'll keep it the same. My monthly hits and misses, as you can see here, I have changed the name from favourites. My video log, which as I've already said, will just be whatever actually gets posted. That will also be IGTV, not just YouTube. My little quote here from Helen Keller, actually, I'm going to add in the HK here because I had to double check it was definitely her who said it. I really like the simplicity of the July month. I am very much enjoying it to the point this might be one of these things that I keep going. Sometimes it's hard because you want to think about new and exciting layouts, but sometimes you just really like that style. So I'm really enjoying this. I love the little branches. I love the simplicity of it. And I think it's really just clean. My brain dump. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how we get on with this. One for YouTube, one for Instagram. I'll try and write ideas for the month in there and we'll see how we get on with that. This is a work in progress. My habit tracker, as I said, will remain the same. And then I really, really like this weekly spread. I think it's quite interesting. I like having the little calendar here. I think having this little Dutch door is going to be really effective because it's given me so much more room in my week as opposed to just having it all laid out on 2 pages. So we'll see how I go with that. Might not keep it up, or I might just do it for weeks where I've got a lot to do, and on other weeks I'll just leave it as a basic layout. We shall see. So that is it. That is everything laid out for the next 6 months and for this month of July. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was quite useful. Maybe you got some hints and tips from it. I will link other videos that I've done in the past. Please feel free to subscribe. I am not solely a bullet journal channel. I just do a little bit of everything. But if you fancy, there will be a subscription button as well. And we'll see you next time. Bye.